together in unity. And in unity, not only help us to celebrate and appreciate each other, but help us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. In Jesus' precious name I pray, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is the reading of the previous day's journal. Will the clerk please read?
State of Rhode Island and Providence.
Senator Matz.
Yeah, Madam President, I move that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that the journal be accepted as printed.
Without objection, so ordered. The next order of business is the introduction of guests. Are there any guests present? Next order of business is committee reports. From the Committee on Judiciary, Senate Bill number 2102, 2103, 2105, calendar. Are there any communications? Next order of business is new business. Senator Frank Lombardo requests immediate consideration of a Senate resolution expressing condolences to the Furia family on the passing of John A. Furia Jr. There being no objection, Senator Lombardo.
Thank you, Madam President. Can we read that, please?
Will the clerk please read?
Senate resolution expressing condolences to the Furia family on the passing of John A. Furia Jr. Whereas John A. Furia Jr. of Coventry, Rhode Island, passed away at home on February 3, 2016. Mr. Furia was born in Providence, Rhode Island, son of the late John Furia Sr. and Maria Furia. He was the beloved husband of Ruth Furia. And whereas Mr. Furia was a hardworking man who was devoted to his family, he worked many years as a supervisor for the Electric Boat Company until his retirement. He was a United States Navy veteran and served our nation with honor, valor, and distinction in the Vietnam War. And whereas besides his wife, Mr. Furia leaves behind his children, John Philip Furia and his wife Laura, Leah M. Furia and Eric Carbone, he also leaves behind his grandchildren, Lily Rose Furia, Olivia May Furia, Alexia Lee Furia, and Joseph Carbone, and his siblings, Paul Furia and Anne-Marie Dutra. He is also survived by Jessica and Elena Capaldi. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Senate of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby expresses its condolences to the Furia family on the passing of John A. Furia, Jr. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and she is hereby authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mrs. Ruth Furia.
Senator Lombardo.
Thank you, Madam President. I first met John 22 years ago on the Little League field in Johnston. We quickly became friends. He had such a true passion and a love for the game of baseball, and he enjoyed nothing more than to teach and share that with every youngster that came through Johnston Little League for a period of 15 years. John was a Vietnam vet who proudly served and fought for this country. He later joined an organization called Operation Stand Down because he knew how important it was to help a veteran who was down and out on their luck and needed some assistance. John recruited me and urged me to be involved in Operation Stand Down, for which later I thanked him for. A little over 4 years ago, John was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of Parkinson's disease. And those of us who knew John knew he would fight till the end. For 4 years, he fought and battled a disease that he knew he would eventually lose to. Today, I would like to honor John in his memory and offer our prayers and thoughts to his wife Ruth, his son JP, his daughter Laura, and his grandchildren. And I'm very fortunate to have known John and to have been considered a friend. And I move passage.
Senator Lombardo moves passage. Second by Senator Archambault, Senator Ruggiero, Senator Algier, Senator Goodwin, Senator DuPont, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch, Senator Sosnowski, Senator Crowley, Senator Pearson, Senator Picard, Senator Metz, Senator Fogarty, Senator Nesselbush, Senator Miller, Senator Pichardo, Senator Felag, Senator McCaffrey, Senator Morgan, Senator Pagliarini, Senator Gee, Senator O'Neill, Senator Raptakis, Senator Sheehan, Senator Satchel, Senator Chacon, Senator Coyne, Senator Lombardi, and Senator DePalma. And Senator Conley. All those in favor, please rise. The resolution passes. Next item of new business is a Senate resolution proclaiming the month of February as Black History Month in the state of Rhode Island. Senator Metz requests immediate consideration. Senator Metz?
Do we have it read?
Senator Metz requests the resolution be read.
Senate resolution proclaiming the month of February as Black History Month in the state of Rhode Island. Whereas throughout the history of America, truly significant African-American contributions to the economy, social growth, sciences, and arts in this great nation have all too often been ignored. In recognition of this plethora of major accomplishments made by men and women of African ancestry, the month of February is celebrated as Black History Month across the nation. And whereas African Americans were first brought to America forcibly, they were enslaved, faced inhuman cruelty, and were subjected to injustices beyond understanding. Families were torn apart, lynching went unpunished, and segregation and denial of fundamental constitutional rights and protections went on for decades. And whereas though these men and women suffered immense tragedies and social inequalities, they also persevered. And their triumphs and contributions to the economic, artistic, literary, scientific, and technological advancement of our country are significant and momentous. And whereas African Americans have been an integral part of Rhode Island's social, political, and economic development from its beginning as a British colony to its inclusion in the formation of the United States to the rich diversity of today's ocean state. And whereas from the initial shots fired in the struggle for American independence to the Rhode Island 1st Black Regiment's Battle of Newport to the garrisons of Rhode Island's 14th Heavy Artillery Regiment in 1863, Americans of African descent have responded to the call of duty. And whereas in recognition of the numerous positive and patriotic contributions of African-American Rhode Islanders in the United States military, we honor their legacy of bravery, honor, and sacrifice. From the earliest recordation of Black history in our state, including those of slaves, former slaves, and free men, African Americans have served with pride to protect our vital interests and provide for our common defense. And whereas structures in the city of Newport, such as the Brick Market, later used as a town hall and theater, the Colony House, which at one time served as Rhode Island's capital, and the oldest library in America, the Redwood Library, stand as lasting and beautiful tributes to the African Americans who lived in our state and played a major role in the construction of these magnificent historic structures. And whereas the United States, and particularly the state of Rhode Island, owe a debt of gratitude to our African American citizens and their forefathers, whose documented achievements have long too gone unrecognized. And whereas this year's celebration of Black History Month holds a special place in the hearts and minds of all Americans. Men such as civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, who sought the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984 and 1988, opened the doors to a new generation of African-American political leaders. Standing on the shoulders of trailblazers before him, President Barack Obama has articulated a message of change that has given hope for a truly united nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senate of the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby proudly proclaims February as Black History Month, and furthermore recognize and applaud the sacrifices and myriad of contributions made by African-American men and women throughout this great nation's history. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and she is hereby authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society.
Senator Metz.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. As many of my colleagues heard last night, I hate stereotypes. And I won't go into that because it was a long hearing last night. But stereotypes for me, this Black History Month is so important because it undoes a lot of the negativity. And the national theme for Black History Month is hallowed ground to African memories. So when I was in junior high school, in the history books, the only thing you knew about Black history was 2 paragraphs about slavery. And you have to wonder about that. And nothing about the great kings of Africa and queens that were present during Europe's Dark Ages. Never heard about them. There was nothing about how the sharks used to follow the slave ships during the Middle Passage. as they threw dead bodies overboard, because the sharks knew that the way they had people cramped in like sardines on those ships that in unhuman conditions and unhealthy conditions, they knew people were going to die. So the sharks used to follow the slave ships during the Middle Passage. And many consider that. You hear a lot about the Holocaust, but you hear very little. And Randall Robertson, in his book, The Debt That America Owes African Americans, he quoted a number that was in the millions of how many people died that never reached these shores heading towards slavery. Now, there was nothing about the contributions made or even the acknowledgement of the free labor exploited to build this country. So hollow ground to African memories means that we were somebody before slavery. The hollow ground means that our contributions go beyond the negative stereotypes that you may hear. I don't want the only thing people to know about the people that I represent is what they see on the 6 o'clock news. We're so much more than that. And it means, in spite of affliction and oppression, our spirit was not crushed, and we are somebody today. It means that we made major contributions to history, to culture, to military service, and the like. So as we celebrate, let's continue to work together to correct past injustices, not as prisoners of the past, but as pioneers of the future. So thank you, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, and I move the resolution.
Senator Metz moves the resolution, seconded by Senator Pichardo, Leader Algier, Leader Ruggiero, Senator Goodwin, Senator DuPont, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch, Senator McCaffrey, Senator Felix, Senator Walaska, Senator Pichardo, Senator Conley, Senator Lombardo, Senator Pagliarini, Senator Morgan, Senator Kettle, Senator G, Senator O'Neill, Senator Reptakis, Senator Sheehan, Senator Cody, Senator Golden, Senator Satchel, Senator Chacon, Senator DePalma, Senator Archambault, Senator Coyne, Senator Lombardi, Senator Miller, Senator Nesselbush, Senator Fogarty, Senator Picard, Senator Peterson, Senator DeBoer, Senator Crowley, and Senator Sosnowski. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The resolution passes. At this time, the next order of business is the approval of today's consent calendar. Leader Ruggiero moves the consent calendar, seconded by Leader Algier. Is there any discussion? There being none, will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall the consent calendar be adopted? Have all senators indicated their vote? Will the clerk lock the machine? 37 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and the consent calendar is adopted. There is no regular calendar today. We will now revert to announcements and or introductions. Are there any announcements? Chairwoman Gallo.
Thank you, Madam President. To you and through you and to the members of the Senate, it's my pleasure to introduce today up in the gallery Tejal Taro and Carol Ann Costa from the Women's Commission. They're here to testify for a bill. Welcome.
Leader Algier.
I ask the Chamber to join me in wishing a happy birthday to one of our colleagues. His birthday was last Friday, Senator Pagliarini. Congratulations.
Senator Crowley.
Introduction, Madam President.
Please proceed.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you and through you to the Chamber my good friend and a member of my district committee, Kathleen Palmer.
Senator Lombardo.
The Labor Committee will be meeting in room 212 at the Rise.
Thank you. Senator Metz.
Please.
Please proceed.
Yes, Senate Education will meet at the Rise in room 313. That's the first one. And the joint celebration for Black History, we alternate every year. Last year it was in the Senate. This year it's going to be in the House. It's supposed to be about 4:30, so you're all welcome.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Conley.
An announcement, please.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Environment and Agriculture will be meeting at the Rise in the Senate Lounge.
Thank you. Senator Nesselbush.
An announcement, Madam President.
Please proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the Committee on Health and Human Services will meet tomorrow in the lounge at 3 p.m. before session for a presentation regarding the consent decree that was reached regarding developmental disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Felag.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Announcement.
Please proceed.
For planning purposes, the Senate Finance Committee will be meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. in room 211. As you know, we're starting the budget articles review of the fiscal year 2017 budget. And as always, your prompt attendance is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Lynch-Prada.
You sure? Announcement, please, Madam President.
Proceed, Senator.
The Committee on Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs is meeting in room 310 at the Rise.
Thank you. Are there any further announcements? Is there any objection to transmitting adopted resolutions to the Honorable Secretary of State, all matters passed by the Senate to the Honorable House of Representatives, and all matters passed in concurrence to Her Excellency the Governor? Hearing none, so ordered. The desk is now clear of business. Madam Whip, for the purposes of adjournment.
Thank you, Madam President. If there's no further business to come before the Senate this afternoon, I'll yield the floor to Senator Lombardo for adjournment.
Thank you. Senator Lombardo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we adjourn in the memory of John A. Furia.
Senator Lombardo moves that the Senate adjourn in memory of John A. Furia Jr. Seconded by Leader Algier, Leader Ruggiero, and many others. All those in favor, please rise. Senate stands adjourned.